So remember how I said last time that this video would be another long analysis of who in my opinion were the two standout characters in Arcane? Yeah, well, I've had to reschedule again because Bel'Veth just got revealed, and holy shit, it's the first Void champion since 2018 and the first Monster champion since 2017. Now, I know her design got leaked a few weeks ago and she hasn't changed all that much since then, but damn if there still isn't a lot to unpack. And not just on Bel'Veth's design and her impact on the game, but on Kai'Sa, Malzahar, Vel'Koz and Runeterra as a whole. It's still not certain if we will get a Void-themed event, but even if we don't, Bel'Veth is going to make waves when she drops into a rift. Let's get into why. Now, there seems to be a lot of division amongst the community about Bel'Veth's more humanoid form, which I understand to an extent. If you're expecting a full-on gruesome and horrifying monster as the grand villain of the Void, then Bel'Veth being more alluring in her first form is a disappointment. But at the same time, come on. Her face actually being a lure, attracting her prey through both seduction and hypnosis, her manta ray fins also serving as a cloak, making her look equal parts elegant and menacing, and the part everyone universally likes, her monster form. Now, I said in my first video on Bel'Veth that I didn't like the monster form as much, but now I've really come around to it. The false human visage to lure prey really being a cover for a horrific but still magnificent and graceful monster is such a clever idea, and I can't wait to see how they implement it in game. Not to mention, the transformation between these two forms looks great. I doubt we'll ever see it as up close again in game, but damn, the animation and art teams really did a good job on this one. Her face goes from a seductive and pretty illusion to a Lovecraftian lure and finally to a gaping and endless maw. It looks so seamless and just so void in its execution. Not to mention her voice is really fitting. I especially love how her mouth is out of sync and barely moves as she speaks, showing her face's superficial and fake nature. Her lines are pretty cliched, however, and I hope they manage to implement a bit more nuance and depth to her since the whole "I am the eater of worlds, woo" shtick is done to death. Plus, League has been on a fucking amazing streak with its villainous characters lately, and it would be a real shame if Bel'Veth's personality didn't live up to the massive stakes she brings to Runeterra's lore. But I digress. If you want some more details on what I think of Bel'Veth's design, then check out this video. But for now, I want to discuss the massive lore implications she brings to Runeterra. I think the idea of Bel'Veth influencing Kai'Sa is such a great direction for her character. I mentioned in my last video that I think Kai'Sa has some really great lore that just doesn't match up with her design, and I think making her spend some time as Bel'Veth's puppet would be a fantastic way to kickstart this change. Kai'Sa's defining character trait has been the internal conflict between helping people and being seen as a monster due to the drastic lengths she has to take to do so. Now she's essentially pushing her morals to the absolute limit by working for the Void in order to save the world for a little longer. I'm really looking forward to seeing how this affects her, as despite her clear unease and conflict, Kai'Sa so far has been pretty resolute in her goals. Something like this could really shake her up, and I'm looking forward to how this affects her dynamic with Kassadin when the two inevitably meet. The short story that dropped immediately after the trailer reveals that Bel'Veth knows not only of Kai'Sa but of Kassadin as well, and now for the first time one of the two Voidwalkers is aware of the other's presence after Bel'Veth reveals to Kai'Sa that her father is searching for her. Not to mention, the Watchers are finally being brought into the story, as Kai'Sa is now searching for them on behalf of Bel'Veth. Could we be getting some Vel'Koz lore? God knows the lad needs it. I'm really excited to see how Bel'Veth and Vel'Koz interact, since the Empress has made her distaste for him and the Watchers pretty clear at this point. Could we be looking at a Void civil war before the attempted Void takeover of Runeterra? I hope we get more development for the Watchers though before this happens, as currently we don't know enough to get invested in their side of the conflict. Although a short story featuring Kai'Sa, Vel'Koz and yes, Lissandra is likely to be coming at this point. Lissandra being given an excuse to actually do something is something I'm so excited for, as it not only advances the Void plotline but the Freljord one too, as Lissandra's a major player in the Freljord conflict, being its current ruler. Her returning to the main stage is not only going to have an effect on Ashe and Sejuani, but also on Volibear and the Ursine, the Primal Gods, basically everyone. Riot are playing their cards really well here, and the potential for lore development here is endless. Y'all know I'm on Team Vel'Koz though in the Void War. Chad, Eye of the Void, stays loyal to his boys and doesn't let no Bel'Vusi sway him from helping the Watchers. Jokes aside, even if we don't get another Void event, this reveal has catapulted the Void from another generic looming threat region to a major player in the lore of Freljord and Shurima. I'm incredibly excited to see how the Void lore plays out, and I'm overall very impressed with Bel'Veth's reveal and lore thus far. Looking forward to making a gameplay video when she drops on main servers, because you can't make me use the PvE on threat of death. Anyway, that's going to be all for today's video, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed. Please consider subscribing if you're new. I'm in a sub war with my mate Neo Cynical, and we're really close to catching him. Also turn on the notifications so you don't miss my next upload. See you around.